Double game week 34 free hit team selection. What is up everyone, how's it going? Hope you're keeping well and welcome back to another video on my YouTube channel. As you all know, my free hit is active, and since my last video I've made some slight adjustments to the squad, so we are getting that one step closer to locking in the team ahead of tomorrow's deadline. In today's video I'm going to show you how I fared out in game week 33, and we'll also be looking at my free hit team selection ahead of tomorrow's deadline. We've lots to discuss, let's get into the video. So before we get into today's video, quick reminder to give the video a like, and let's hit a like goal of 80 likes on this video. So head on down there, drop the video a like, and if you are watching this video and you're not subscribed, please do hit that subscribe button below. We're currently on the road to 6k subs, trying to get there before the end of the season. We have a small bit of work to do, but it is very possible. So please head on down there, click subscribe if you haven't already, and support the channel and help me on my way to hitting that milestone. Looking at my game week 33 review, I scored 81 points of the week, which is a great score for the team. And I also managed to get myself a green arrow, and I'm now sitting at 72k overall. I've got my differentials, Isak up front, and my double Chelsea defensive clean sheet to thank for getting this green arrow. Isak in the early kickoff grabbed himself 2 goals and 2 bonus points for a lovely 12-point return. And Gusto and Petrovic finally got that clean sheet since bringing them in the wildcard in game week 30 to come away with a combined 12 points in defence. It was a slightly nervy watch as a double Chelsea defensive owner. Even though Chelsea were in such control of the game, there was always that slight doubt whether or not Everton were going to get one back. Thankfully they didn't, and those 12 points in defence were much needed. But whatever about the Chelsea clean sheet, it was all about Cole Palmer on Monday night as he grabbed himself 4 goals in the game for an absolutely massive 26-point return. So fair play if you did captain him on Monday night. What a return he got from the Iron Man there. But speaking about captains, Erling Haaland grabbed himself a goal and an assist against Luton on Saturday. A very, very jammy assist in the first minute from that own goal from the Luton defender, and thankfully he grabbed himself a penalty in the second half. So 20 points from the Iron Man from Erling was a nice return, and I was just glad he did get that goal in the second half, as apart from the penalty he was very quiet. We all know about the drama that happened on the deadline stream on Saturday when the news broke on Twitter that Foden was going to be starting the Luton game. I acted on this information. I took out Bukayo Saka, brought in Foden, but only then at 2 PM when the City team news was released, Foden was left on the bench. But thankfully he missed out on the game completely, so that meant I'd Garnacho to sub into my team later that evening. Garnacho grabbed himself an assist, albeit a jammy assist in the first half, but then he was taken off at half time, so he only came away with 4 points, but I was happy he did get that return in the first half. Moving on to Sunday, I thought I was going to be in big trouble with no Saka, but thankfully the FPL gods were aligned with me, and Saka blanked against Aston Villa, and it actually worked out for the better, with Garnacho outscoring Saka. Going back to the Foden news, it now looks like Man City are trying to flush out any leakers that are close to the club ahead of the season running, as those 3 accounts on Twitter have been very reliable in the past, so it's definitely a big shock to see Foden named on the bench when the lineups were announced at 2 PM on Saturday. I'm sure we'll still get plenty of team leaks before the rest of the season, but we'll just have to keep in mind what happened at the weekend, and there is a slight chance that these leaks could be wrong, and we'll have to keep this in mind when I am making my transfers. As I said, 81 points of the week was a great score for the team, and that saw me get a much needed green arrow, and I'm now sitting at 72k overall. With a free hit to use now in double game week 34, I'll be hoping I can get close to the 50k overall rank, and then hopefully build on then for the rest of the season. Let's move on now and have a look at how I'm shaping up ahead of tomorrow's deadline. So before we get into my full free hit team, with all the drafts I've made so far this week, these 4 players on screen here have never left any one of the drafts I've made. So these players are pretty much essential, and you need to have them in your free hit team. Starting off in defence with Gabriel, you need to have at least 1 Arsenal defender in your free hit team. With Gabriel, you've got the security of minutes alongside Saliba, but Gabriel offers more of an attacking threat compared to Saliba, and we all know how dangerous he can be from those set pieces, so that's why Gabriel hasn't left my team yet. With a double game week for Liverpool, Mo Salah hasn't left the team in any one of my drafts so far this week. Fair enough, he's not in the best of form as of late. 3 blanks in his last 5 games. Definitely isn't the Mo Salah we all love and know, but he did get that goal against Atalanta last night, albeit a penalty, so hopefully he can bring that form into the double game week. 2 away fixtures for Liverpool against Fulham and Everton, and they'll definitely be looking to bounce back after the disappointing loss to Crystal Palace last weekend, and I'm expecting some good returns for Salah over the double game week. Likewise with Mo Salah, Bukayo Saka has blanked 3 times in his last 5 games, so he's not in the best of form going into Arsenal's double game week, but he is on penalties like Salah also, so there is always a chance he can return, and that's why he hasn't left any one of my drafts. up against Wolves and Chelsea over the double game week, and Arsenal will be looking to bounce back after that defeat against Aston Villa last weekend. I am expecting goals for Arsenal over these two fixtures, so fingers crossed Saka can be involved and be amongst the returns. Solanke is my fourth and final essential pick on your free hit team. He has got 3 goals in his last 5 games, so he is in decent form going into the double game week. He's up against Aston Villa at the weekend, and Aston Villa played extra time and penalties last night against Lille, where they did advance to the semi-finals in the Europa Conference League. There's a slight chance it could be fatigued, so I wouldn't be surprised if Bournemouth do get a goal against them or a few goals against them at the weekend. Then looking at the second fixture of the double game week for Bournemouth, they are up against Wolves, and Wolves have only kept 1 clean sheet in their last 11 games, so I'm expecting a few returns from Bournemouth in that game, and hopefully it is Solanke. Having Solanke in your team, with a lot of managers who aren't free hitting this week, they will have Solanke in their non-free hit teams, so having Solanke on your free hit team will cover you in case he does go off on the double game week. They're my 4 essential players on your free hit this weekend. Let's move on now and have a look at my defence. So looking at my updated defence, Dean Henderson has come into my starting 11 and Jordan Pickford has moved out of it after Everton conceded 6 away to Chelsea on Monday night. Everton also picked up a few injuries in defence, and in my last video I was confident of Everton getting a clean sheet against Nottingham Forest at the weekend, but with those new defensive injuries I'm not too confident now, and that's why Henderson has moved into the team. Henderson had a great game against Liverpool at the weekend, and he picked up 9 points after picking up 2 bonus points as well in that game. 2 home fixtures for Crystal Palace against West Ham and Newcastle. Fair enough, I'm not expecting too much in the Newcastle game, but fingers crossed he can get a few save points. But all eyes on that West Ham game, where I am hopeful of a clean sheet for Crystal Palace. They've looked a lot more solid in defence over the last few game weeks, so hopefully he can get that clean sheet then. Looking at the rest of my back three, in my last video I had gone with Arsenal double attack, but I've since moved back now to Arsenal double defence, with Saliba partnered alongside Gabriel for my second Arsenal defender asset. I do expect Arsenal to get at least 1 clean sheet over the double game week, so that's the reason I've gone for a second Arsenal defensive asset. Trent Alexander-Arnold completes my back three, and he played 72 minutes last night in the Europa League game against Atalanta. First off, I'm hoping he can get 2 starts over the course of the double game week, and it was good to see him last night get amongst the returns as he got the penalty for Liverpool, so it's good to see him back in those attacking positions. He's an absolute massive differential if you are looking at him on your free hit. Currently owned by only 8.8% of managers in the game, so if he does get those 2 starts over the double game week, he could get some massive points, and that's the reason why I'm going to take the risk on him. That's my defence out of the way. Let's move on now and have a look at the midfield. Moving on to the midfield, I'll start off with Eze, and to be fair to Eze, he was probably rather unfortunate that he wasn't named as one of my essential players on your free hit. Just with a few drafts I made throughout the week, I did have Elise in over Eze, but now I'm pretty much cemented having Eze in the team. Elise has come back from that injury, and it seems Elise is the first player to be substituted, so Eze is in the team, as it looks like he will get more minutes over the double game week. Luis Diaz played 66 minutes last night for Liverpool in that Europa League game, so he should see some good minutes over the double game week. I'm hopeful that he'll get 2 starts over the double game week, but he'll definitely get 1 start. I was toying with the idea of having Jota on my free hit, but it's just uncertainty around his minutes over the double game week. I don't want to be bringing in a player who's going to be benched for 1 or 2 games. Fair enough, Jota could come off the bench in those 2 games and still do well, but with Diaz, I think he's more guaranteed of a start, so that's why I've gone for him as my third Liverpool asset. Finishing off my midfield is Brereton Diaz of Sheffield United. He's an absolute mega ultra differential, only owned by 0.4% of managers in the game, so that's why I'm eyeing up him as a massive differential that'll hopefully get me up the ranks. He's up against Burnley in the first fixture of the double game week, a must-win game for Sheffield United, so I am expecting there to be goals in that game. And then Sheffield United also have Man United then in the second fixture of the double game week, as we all know how poor United have been in defence over the last couple of game weeks. So to be fair, I wouldn't be surprised to see Sheffield score, and if they do score, it'll probably be Diaz who should be involved. That's my midfield out of the way. Let's move on now and let's finish off my free hit team and have a look at the strikers. I've gone with double Crystal Palace attack in Mateta to partner alongside Dominic Solanke to complete my free hit starting 11. Mateta's got 3 goals in his last 5 games, so he is in very good form at the moment. 2 home fixtures for Crystal Palace also, and they are in good form, so that's why I want to get a piece of the double Crystal Palace attack, so hopefully Mateta can return well over the double game week. It is definitely a close call between Cunha and Mateta for my last spot in my starting 11. With Cunha, I have got double Arsenal defence, and Wolves are up against Arsenal in that first game of the double game week, so it just makes sense to go with Mateta if I am hoping for that Arsenal clean sheet. Looking towards my bench, I've gone with Pickford, Nori, Tarkowski and Cunha, So I've gone with a 15-man squad full of double game week players. As I said in my last video, there are some teams with good single game week fixtures, the likes of Man City, Man United, Aston Villa, Newcastle. So players like Isak, Gordon, Erling Haaland, if he is back from his injury, Phil Foden, Ollie Watkins, Bruno Garnacho are all decent shouts if you do want to look towards them on your free hit. Me personally, I just prefer going with 11 double game week players, and hopefully the double game week players can outscore the single game week players, and also who doesn't love a double game week. So that's how I'm currently lining out on my free hit team. I do have a few decisions to make ahead of tomorrow's deadline. For example, with Saliba in defence, am I going to stay on 2 Arsenal defenders? I could go Robertson in defence, and then instead of Diaz in midfield, I could go with Havertz. So that's another route I can go. And then I also still need to decide on Mateta or Cunha up front. Mo Salah will be getting the captaincy over the double game week. 2 nice fixtures for Liverpool, and I am expecting them to bounce back after the defeat at Crystal Palace last weekend, and I am expecting a double-digit haul from Salah over the double game week. If you've made it to the end of this video, please give it a like, drop a comment below, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Let's hit a like goal of 80 likes on this video, so head on down there, drop the video a like, and if you are watching this and you're not subscribed, please do hit that subscribe button below. 56% of my viewers aren't actually subscribed to the channel, so if you are one of those viewers who aren't subscribed, please head on down there, click subscribe. And as I said, I'm currently on the road to 6k subs, trying to get there before the end of the season, so I'd really appreciate it if you haven't done so already. Click subscribe and help me on my way to reaching that milestone. I'll see you all on Saturday afternoon for a deadline stream where I'll be locking in my free hit team and answering all your questions ahead of the double game week 34 deadline. Thanks for watching, best of luck for the week. I'll see you in the next video.